freaking cut myself. Slender Man, Slender Man. To him, it's part of the fun. Oh my god, that sounded like somebody said, I'm Slender Man. Oh my god, what was it? I feel... A leaf. It wasn't a leaf. Did you hear that knock?
I'm not in this one, huh?
You are, but I'm just gonna get you in a minute. Do you think creatures like that exist? Like werewolves and like Bigfoot and stuff?
I'm kind of more pessimistic on believing that kind of stuff. What's this? You see eyes?
What the fuck is that? Why is there somebody driving down this? I took off on you. That other room that we were just in?
Jesus, scared me. I'm so jumpy.
Mark, did you get scared? Paul is one of the ghosts here that kind of likes to scare people. So it makes me a little nervous being in here.
Do you want to play a game? I guess I gotta say.
The fuck are you, Jigsaw?
Do you want to play a game?
Would you like to play a game?
We're going down in the dark?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not going down in the dark.
Yes, we are.
I'm not.
What's up, ghosties? Welcome to today's video, which is the last video of 2018. I can't believe that this year is over with already. It feels like it just started, but at the same time, it feels like it's been a very long year. And I think it's partly because of all the traveling I did. I got to go to a lot of different creepy, spooky places this year. And I'm so grateful that I got to go to all of them. I mean, right off the bat this year, I started off with being able to go to Myrtle's Plantation, which was a very awesome experience. And then I went on to so many different places after that. Again, I'm just so grateful that I was able to go to as many locations as I did this year. So what I thought would be fun for the last video of this year is to go through my favorite or top 5 pieces of evidence that I captured while on location. And I have to say, I think I caught some very good evidence this year. Yes, I did catch a ton of evidence, but unfortunately, if I put it all into this video, it'd be very, very long. So again, I'm just going to give you my top 5 favorite pieces of evidence that I collected this year. So let's count them down, starting with number 5, which happens to take place at the Queen Mary. So my favorite piece of evidence from the Queen Mary is when I was there with my friend Brittany and we were in the restricted area. Now, we weren't supposed to be up there, but we went anyway, and what we caught up there was a really unique piece of evidence, and I'm going to play it for you now. I don't know what's in there. It was so neat to catch those voices on camera. There was nobody else up there with us. And you know, it just adding to the spook factor was that it was this restricted off-limits area that was kind of under construction. Definitely one of my favorite pieces of evidence. Number 4 brings us to a haunted orphanage that I went to in Gettysburg. I got to investigate it with my friend Christine from Paranormal TV. It was such a spooky location. They had that really creepy area called the Pit, and this is where they used to punish and torture children. It was just so spooky going back into that area, but the basement in general just had a very spooky feeling to it. And there's one point where I went into the basement and I sat there with my night vision camera on. Everything else was off. It was pitch dark, and I kept hearing noises coming from my right. Hello? So as I mentioned, very spooky in that basement. I would love to go back there again and investigate and just see what other pieces of evidence we could come up with. So now number 3 brings us to the Sally house, and I'm so grateful that I was able to go there and investigate and hang out with some friends. I got to go with Amanda and Kyla and Mark and my husband Matt. So it was a really fun evening, and it had some really unique pieces of evidence to go along with it. Now personally, my favorite piece of evidence from that night happened when I was doing an Instagram live stream, and something really odd happened with one of the lights upstairs as I was live. I'm going back upstairs right now because I just had the weirdest experience, and I caught it on my live stream while on Instagram. I was coming out of this bedroom here, and when I came out, I turned off this light, and then I walked out into this hallway and I was talking on my live stream, and this light here went out by itself. The other light here stayed on, but this one went out. And at first I thought, okay, well, maybe it was just the light bulb like blew or whatever. I got a little freaked out. So I went downstairs, I grabbed Amanda. We came into Sally's room here, and we were playing with the blocks on the floor. We got up, we walked out of this room, and we walked out. The light was back on. It just turned back on by itself. It was so weird. And I caught it on my Instagram live. I just took a screen recording of it. So I'm gonna play it for you now so that you guys can see it. You know, it's just so cool to be at this location. Did you see it? Did a light just go out?
Did a light just go out? Did a light just go out? Did a light just go out?
I think it was so cool that that happened while I was doing a live stream, so that people could see there was no way it could have been staged or faked. It happened in the spur of the moment. I barely even knew that it happened. It wasn't until I kind of went back and re-looked at it where I was sure 100% that something had happened while I was live. So number 2 is a really unique piece of evidence, I think. It's what I believe to be a ghost saying my name. Now I got to go to Salem with my friend Kyla, and we got to stay at the Salem Inn. There's a couple different buildings to the Salem Inn. I stayed in the main building and she stayed in the Kerwin house, and we caught this piece of evidence while we were in her building at the Kerwin house. There was just this strange, weird, eerie feeling to her room. At one point it almost felt like I could feel like something touched me while we were there, which really freaked me out. I don't think I got that on camera, so that's why I'm not including that as one of my favorite pieces of evidence. But I did catch what I thought was something saying my name. Could you knock on the wall again? Did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah. Was that you?
What do you guys think? Does it sound like something saying my name to you? It does to me. That's the thing with evidence. It's so subjective. One person might hear something and another person will hear something completely different. So let me know what you heard. Which leaves us with my number 1, my favorite piece of evidence from 2018, and it might not be what you think it would be. I was able to go stay at the Stanley Hotel, and it is beautiful, it is breathtaking, and it is spooky at the same time. Now this is actually kind of like a 2-for-1. There are 2 pieces of evidence that I love from my stay at the Stanley Hotel. The first one came from when I was visiting the pet cemetery. One of the animals buried there is named Comanche, and the rumor is if you are on the property or around the pet cemetery, sometimes you will see the cat or you'll hear it, especially if you're calling its name out, you can kind of hear it meowing sometimes. And that is what I was able to catch while I was there. And one of the most famous animals here is a cat named Comanche. I think that's how you say his name, and is buried here. And the rumor is if you call for him, sometimes you'll be able to hear him meowing, sometimes you'll feel it rub up against your leg, and sometimes you can see him in the hotel. He'll show up as like a white fluffy fur ball. Comanche, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, Comanche. I just think it is so cool to be able to catch that piece of evidence, to be calling the cat's name and then you hear what sounds like a meow. I just think it was really, really cool. And the other piece of evidence from the Stanley Hotel is when I was in my room investigating. Now I stayed in room 217, which is supposed to be the most haunted room in the hotel, and I got a very strange vibe while I was in that room. The entire weekend that I was there, I was just really, really anxious and unsettled. For some reason, I found it really hard to investigate in the room. Like I said, I was just kind of overcome with anxiety the entire weekend. But, you know, when you're there and you're there in the dark, when you hear something that sounds like it's coming from right next to you, it freaks you out. And that's what happened here. I was sitting there doing my investigation when it sounded like something tapped on the table right next to me. Can you tell me why you're still here? I'm having a really hard time investigating here. I hope you guys enjoyed going through my favorite pieces of evidence from 2018. I've been to so many different locations this year. It was really hard to choose just 5, but if I would have chose more, the video would have just went on and on and on. So I encourage you to go back and watch some of the older videos if you're new. Go check out some of the locations I've been to and what type of evidence I was able to come up with. I hope everybody has a very safe and happy New Year's, and I'm excited to see what 2019 brings. I'll see you guys in the new year with some new creepy locations, and I'll do my best to continue bringing you different pieces of paranormal evidence. I'll see you in my next video.